I had a half a pill in the dark room, in the ministry. Plastic Dreams came on. My world changed. And I go to the ministry at first, all this Colton there and there's Dave Courtney and all these people that I knew them then. We all got in there and everything changed for me. So I then realised I brought at least 100 people that night. They're all paying 15 quid. It's nothing now. I won't buy you water, will it? I realised I've just made this club $5,000. I don't know how much. And then I pushed to be a promoter. I'm honest about this, and it's often been quoted. Early football violence. When the Chemical Romance began, and you got Hacienda, Manchester, and you got Cream and Ministry of Sound and Shoom and Spectrum, and they're all on ecstasy. This is a fact. The same guys who used to fight on the terraces and bash fuck out of each other used to be raving next to each other. It killed football violence. MDMA, arguably, I'm not condoning it, kind of mellowed, softened or stopped football violence, because the guy cuddling someone ain't going to bash shit out of him the week after when they're at West Ham and Millwall. I lost my house, I lost everything, and I was in a dark place. So of course, silly Ferrari went and Harley Davidsons, and Smarty Party folded because of this. Stories we've spoke about are in this book. It's a massive book.
Quite some story.
Hi, Dex.
Trace, typical. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, mate.
Thanks.
Long time.
At last, we have been trying to do this for months, haven't we?
Well, with the season you've had, which I've witnessed and looked at, I thought this ain't going to happen until I'm 70.
Yeah,
not far off that.
Well, it's to God. It's been one of those summers that has just been so time consuming. Do you know, weird fact? Last summer, I went to the beach every day with my kids. Every day. That was a good day. I lived right next to the beach every day. This year, 3 times I've been.
Oh.
That's been the difference in workload, stress, and just purely because of different dynamics changing within Ibiza and with some of my other business interests as well. So it's been I think it's been quite an eye-opening summer in Ibiza, though.
Challenging. Yeah.
Would you?
It's
so
evolved,
you agree?
isn't it? It's evolved again.
Yeah. I mean, I always say this, but sometimes I believe that things evolve, but they don't evolve for the best.
Technology, although this is good technology.
This is great technology, and obviously the technology that I'm seeing in some of these clubs, I'm just like, whoa, I remember it just being spit and sawdust, sweat from the ceilings,
EC1 Club. Yeah.
Ah, yes. I haven't heard that for a while.
Wow.
Good God. So where are you actually from originally?
Well, I always say London because I used to travel a lot and no one's ever heard of Canvey Island, but Canvey Island, Essex. Oh, well, Canvey Island. Dr. Philby.
Yeah. I've got a couple of friends who live there.
The gold mine.
I've got some friends who live there. Kelly and Steve live there, who are ex-Ibiza workers.
I was born there. On the island. I didn't even get to hospital.
I'll have to give Kelly a shout about this, because I think Steve's a Scouser and he's now been brought to Canvey. So
how long has he been there?
He's been there for a good few years now.
You might know my brother. So. My brother was the Milky Bar kid, wasn't he?
Okay. Was it?
1966, my brother, Milky, is there. He was a Milky Bar kid.
Oh, my Lord. How weird is that? And so how did you get into... I mean, I know of you for many, many years through the nightclub world. How did you get into that? I mean, because it was... what year? It must have been 19...
Wait.
I don't want to say.
Right. Between 1990 and about 1997, I did bodybuilding. And
you did.
Eventually opened my own gym. And a friend of mine, I'll get to the point, was going into a bodybuilding show. And I went and followed him, and he came third, but out of 3 people. So it's kind of last, right? But while I was training with him, my ego was saying, "Me, hang on a minute, you could compete against this guy." So the very next year, I trained for the Mr. Kent Bodybuilding Championship, and I won with 25 different competitors. It's all extreme now, but then it was quite aesthetic, and it actually looked pretty cool, I think. My music would have been Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. because you have to have 3 minutes of music, right? But in between 1993 and 95, I bizarrely found myself in the Ministry of Sound. But I was not anti-drugs, but I was, I'm not taking ecstasy, all these weird people. But I had a half a pill in the dark room, in the ministry. Plastic Dreams came on. My world changed. It literally transformed my whole world and my record collection. I've always been a drummer, a percussionist.
Yes.
For years and years, since a kid. So my music collection has changed to Renaissance or whatever's coming out. And then it's a whole book that's just talking about this. I then went back to the Ministry of Sound and invited all people to my next bodybuilding show when I put a DJ on the stand in the break. This has never been done before. It's my head again. Adam Abbott, his name was. He was my DJ, and now I was playing house music and posing, and half the audience was nodding. And I invited them to the ministry to follow me to the ministry after. I was all covered in that colourful dye. I was like all muscly and
I've seen photos.
Yeah,
I've seen some photos of you. Actually.
So when I go to the ministry, at first all there's Colton there and there's Dave Courtney and all these people that I knew them then. I said, Trace, we can't let this amount of big guys in. I said, what about if they disperse amongst all the women, split up a bit and don't look so big? Because there's bodybuilders, right? But we all got in there and everything changed for me. So I then realised I brought at least 100 people that night. They're all paying 15 quid. It's nothing now. Won't buy you water, will it? But it was 15 quid in the ministry. I paid as well. And then I realised I've just made this club $5,000. I don't know how much. And then I pushed to be a promoter. And they let me kind of do a promoter in what was called the baby. It wasn't called the baby box then. It was changed to that after. So I did a kind of promotion in there, and I promise you I brought about 250 people. And then I said, I want more. I want to walk through the door. I got the bug, and I was there 5 years, and I never had the whole club because they always wanted Jazzy M or CJ McIntosh or Ed Rillo, if you can mention his name these days, etc. But it was Smarty Party presents ruling at Ministry of Sound. So, and one of your questions I know is, what did I learn there? War, everything. But I'm diversifying. I better get you to pull me in.
Where did the Smarty Party name come from?
Ecstasy.
Smarty Party.
Yeah, anyone got a Smarty, and that's
what a stupid question I just asked.
Well, it wasn't called Smarty Party at the time, and that's when I was with my then girlfriend Claire, lovely girl, still friends, beautiful. And I have to say this because sometimes I forget on camera. We started Smarty Party from scratch, and it began when I did a party at the Can't Club after party on the Temple Pier boat in 1994-5.
Yeah.
It never really had a name then. I think I called it Tracy's Bongo Party. But me and Claire came up with the name Smarty because everybody says, oh, you got any Smarties? And this is the funny one. I've got to get it in there. Our next party, which was actually Legends, all right, we somehow went to a supermarket and said, you got any Smarty Party boxes? Smarties, the sweets. And Claire, we cut all the boxes up. It sounds stupid now, doesn't it? Look at Universe, but they do that. And we hanged Smarty tubes everywhere, and Smarty Party was born 1994, 95. And that's
just look at Club UK. I mean, they had chewing gum things, remember? And all sorts of stuff that was like their decor.
I mean, that kind was free as well.
Yeah.
It's kind of free.
I started my journey, my house journey in Club UK, and that was really, I really enjoyed that. But you're right. I trained in a lot of bodybuilding gyms,
right,
over the years, and proper gyms, spit and sawdust, where they're training for tournaments or training for shows.
Yeah,
and a lot of them are ravers.
Of course they are. They all are. I mean, I'm a bit guilty of bringing so many bodybuilders down to the ministry. It actually got a bit out of hand in the end. I don't want to quote the Essex boys, but there was a connection there with all these guys and Colton and Nigel Ben and Courtney. I was bringing so many guys there. I nearly got in trouble a few times because they're all selling steroids for each other. And they thought I was involved in it. I actually got pulled in to see Colton, Rise of the Foot Soldier. And if he sees this, hello, And I had to say to him, no, I'm not a little boy, so in front of a friend called Jim Connor that owned the gym, Trace, tell me your involvement with this person and this person, because they're doing something. It's affecting us. You're about to get shot, maybe. But I wasn't a kid. I kept my I said, okay, I know you're talking about. Yes, I got him as a bodybuilder, say hello to him. Whatever happened after that is none of my business. Colton says, fair enough, I believe you. And that was it. But that you get pulled into so much gangster stuff in those days. It's all throughout my first book, that dark stuff. I eventually learned to navigate away from it before he got close to me. But quite a few times I got burned. Guns in my head and gassed, and it's quite extreme.
I mean, I was at some South London gyms that you'll probably be aware of, and it was really weird because a lot of them kept themselves to themselves. And then I started talking to them eventually after you would win their trust after about a year. They just grunt at you usually, yeah. And then
fragile trust.
And then I'd find out that they'd be going to like Peach on a Friday, and they'd be going here, and they'd be going Camden, and they'd be going all sorts of places, and they'd be getting on the gear, but they're on the juice as well. So they didn't give a fuck, you know?
Let's be honest about this, and it's often been quoted. Early football violence. When I started traveling when I was about 21, that's traveling all over the world and stuff, people was wary of the English. As soon as you go where I went, Israel and India and Australia and Africa, and you say you're English, they almost take a step back. They might be doing this again now. And there was the stigma of England, particularly England, and football violence. However, when the chemical romance began, and you got Hacienda, Manchester, and you got Cream and Ministry of Sound and Shoom and Spectrum, and they're all on ecstasy. This is a fact. The same guys who used to fight on the terraces and bash fuck out of each other used to be raving next to each other. It killed football violence. MDMA, arguably, I'm not condoning it, kind of mellowed, softened, or stopped football violence, because the guy cuddling someone ain't going to bash shit out of him the week after when they're at West Ham and Millwall. And that had a lot to do with it.
They had another outlet for that energy.
And it was quite magical.
And it was a fun and magical experience, because those first MDMA years were incredible because it was so clean and new. Yeah. And it was a magical period.
And probably safer than a whiskey and tonic, right?
Absolutely, but not taxable, Trace.
You got it.
So percussion. How did the percussion side get into your life? Obviously, that must have come after, yeah, or before.
Well, no, during it connects to the fact of me taking that half a pill, and my music style changing from Pink Floyd, The Who, Dire Straits, Talking Heads, which I still like, but into dance.
Great,
into dance music. I'm always tapping, even in my head. So this is a big story. At some point, we all got banned from the ministry. When I went down there one night, and that was like a church to us, arriving there, going over Tower Bridge, queuing up. This is before I promoted, by the way. I've gone backwards a little bit. Queuing up, getting in, on the door, Philip Salon or Mark Herman. They was the pickers then. Let you in. I go to the door. I think it was Colton. It was. I think, said, Trace, nothing personal. We can't let bodybuilders in here. There's too many in here, and it could cause a problem if it goes off. I was like, fuck. I mean, you'll understand because you're old school. That's like being told you can't go to your favourite concert or football match.
Oh, I'd be gutted.
Yes. So gutted. What do? I'm outside the ministry. Mobile phones are that big, and I'm meeting my friends arriving. I said, you ain't going to get in. So someone told us about Bagleys. I'll get to the point. It's a great story. Bagleys.
Yes.
Right? Bagleys, what the fuck's that? It's amazing, Trace. Go there. So I'm in my car, 30 cars behind me, driving past the cross, which is always cool, right? Massive big queue, Bagleys, the Mud Club, Philip Salon, right? I'm in the queue. I've just kind of done a bodybuilding show a few weeks before, and I had a big crombie on and joppers, excuse the dress, right? I don't know who Philip Salon was then, but he's walking along the queue. He stopped, so I've got my long blonde hair. He said, hi, who are you? Sorry, Philip. I said, well, my name's Trace. He said, why are you here, Trace? He said, and what's under your coat? Oh, God. So I undo my coat. He's a gay guy, so I suppose I'm like a bar of chocolate. And I said, listen, Philip, I don't know you. we've all been kicked out of the ministry. He went, I can't fucking stand that place. I used to be involved in that. So he said, Trace, how many of you are there? I said, there's a lot of us. He said, follow me. This is true. I go out past 500 people in the queue. I grab as much as my things as I can and about 20 people I've never seen before. Follow me. Get to the front. I think, what's all this? And he stands by, let these lovely people in. And we all go in there. And oh my God, I can't say it's better than the ministry, but in some ways it was
wicked, Bagleys.
So
I preferred it. I always preferred it for some reason.
I have to be careful I don't say this because ministry have contacted me recently about a book. So they're both good.
It was 30 years ago though.
Right. But wait, and I'll move on to the point of percussion, right? So started going there all the time, on the stage, up the steps, open the door like Laserdrome used to be, inside, big rooms. Wow. I'm walking around, wasted nicely, right at the back rooms, 4 rooms back, little guy playing percussion. And I'm watching him, not to touch his drums, like I'm not an annoying person. Go, let me bang your drums, like people do me now. And I watched. In the evening, I saw Philip again. By then, forgive me, I had my shirt off and he kept walking by me and smiling. I said, Philip, can I talk to you? He said, okay, Trace. I said, I play the bongos. I said, I was a bit nervous. Can I play in here? He said, yes, come next week and we'll set you up. Ring this number first. And I put the phone down. I said to my mates, oh, fucking hell. I think I'm playing in here next week. He said, I'll make a call. Come here at 10 o'clock. I go with my car and 3 friends to get them in free. All my kit. Think I'm in the back room. It's not open yet. Walk in the main room and there's 7 microphones on the stage. I think, oh, who's playing in here? Must be Shovel or someone or Magic Fingers or another percussionist, right? I know so many of them. And I found the sound guy. I said, I'm Trace. He said, oh, Philip said you was going to ring. So we've all set you up, Trace. Let's do a sound check. And I'm like, what there? Before that, I'd only played him off in that room almost at a couple of pubs on Canby. He sets me up. Listen to this. I'll get to the point. Straight through. Sets me up. No one in there. Proper sound check with wedge speakers and tap, tap. And everything. So he said, Trace, all right, put your thumb, you want it up and more. He tapes it all. He said, right, what time you on? I said, well, you're open about 11. He said, yeah. I said, maybe midnight when the big room opens, I'll play. He said, just give us a thumbs up. I'll be up there. Really professional. Right. The night start, I'm quite sure it's Danny Rampling. Right. And I go in there. I'm up there first because they haven't opened the room up the steps. And I'm playing slowly because it's Danny Rampling. I think it's Danny or Trevor Thumb. And I'm playing softly. And he's giving me the thumbs up. Doors open. Within a minute, there's 1,000 people in the room. And I'm playing. And my friends are coming and going, oh, my God. And I stayed there for a few years. So that's how I got into percussion. Then ministry poached me. They was annoyed, maybe not annoyed. They came and poached me from Bagleys and offered me a tour. So quickly, my percussion well went
full circle.
It was mad. David Vincent was working with us that time. He took me to the Hacienda and Tunnel. For years, for 4.5 years, I played for them. My world went cosmic. It's like being a footballer kicking around in Basildon, and someone says, "Go and play at Wembley." You're like, "Oh fuck."
Tell me about your tours. You did a lot of touring then, yeah?
Yeah.
And that was as a percussionist, not as a promoter.
My first tour for ministry was purely as a percussionist, and that was a tour of the UK to God. I'm sure I played God's Kitchen and Sugar Shack, the Tunnel Club in Glasgow, Hacienda. It was a Newcastle Hard Times. Remember those? All those guys?
I remember all of them. Yeah,
they collaborated with ministry on this kind of tour, and I was the percussionist. So I was with Jazzy M or Frankie Fonzette or CJ McIntosh or Roger Sanchez and all these guys, and I'm just touring, and it was magical. He was literally treated like a pop star, and I always get out there and help with the sound engineer. I'm not, no disrespect, some DJs got their head up there, some are amazing. Right? So I would always help out and help the bloke. And anyway, so I did that for weeks, sometimes aeroplane, sometimes flying. Then I go home and I'm like in heaven already. Don't forget, I'm a drummer. So even if I don't get paid, I'm still a drummer. I get the same buzz. The money's just an extra. It really is like first time DJing.
It's your passion.
It's my passion. So then I would get a phone call and it'd be the same. Hi, Trace, it's Gary Smart or whoever, or Hector from the ministry. So, Trace, is your passport up to date? Hold up. where am I going? I said, yeah, we're doing a tour of UAE. So I ended up doing UAE, which is Oman, Muscat, Oman, Abu Dhabi. I ended up touring to all those countries. Early days, I remember they set me up somewhere once and I was like a feature. This is an ego thing with all lights and everything. And I can't remember the DJ was. It could have been Roger Sanchez. I don't know. Was it kind of at the back, like Bora DJ used to be, stuck in the back with the burgers? And I'm at the front, and then on the way home on the Emirates Airlines, all the newspapers, and I've got one in there. It's got me on the front as though I'm being a superstar. I'm not. Don't think I was. But they did that. I used that. I walked through doors with that press and just took myself for 18 years with my own promotion, Smarty Party. And then I detached from ministry because I was getting offered private gigs. I could either earn $2,000 or 200. So I went for that and did my own Smarty Party tours. Smarty Party quickly started touring everywhere I went with ministry. Nearly got took in court a few times in Egypt by ministry. Never used their logo, played the game right. I'm still involved with them. And it hasn't stopped now. It's just different. It's different. I'm still tapping.
When did the Percussionist become the promoter, or did it always kind of like...
Immediate, because when I first played in that Bagleys gig, I was so elevated, so proud, so chuffed that I, again, approached Philip. I'm always like, I said, Philip, he said, oh, Trace, yeah, you playing next week? I said, yeah. I said, if I brought a list of people, how much are you on the door? I said, 15 quid. I said, would you do a discount and I keep the discount? He said, well, how about I let you in with a £10 pass? So they all get in £10. They can queue jump. I'm listening, thinking tick, 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 tick. And I'll give you a £5 from that. I said, so you just make a £5? He said, yeah. He said, you'll have to trust me though. I said, really, if you want to rip me off, rip me off. I'm going to go for it. So I printed up in those little machines I used to have in the train stations. I've got one of them and all. Tracy's bongo party at Bagleys, sign your name and email address, right? And I bossed them out everywhere I went. My first time, not my first time playing, my first time there, I think about 400 people come up. And on the way home, Philip Slong gives me like 1,000 quid. It's a lot of money then, 1,000 quid. I'm a promoter now. And then that's when me and Claire got together.
So was he a door picker? He was
Philip
the door
Salon.
picker.
Philip, do you know who Philip Salon is?
I've heard of the name, but back in those days, there was door pickers, wasn't there?
Yeah, Philip Salon was...
because the club scene was so busy, they could literally pick and choose who come into the clubs, couldn't they?
Yeah, there's Philip Salon, Mark Herman, bless him, rest in peace. Philip Salon was the door picker at Ministry, I believe, early days. Then he created the Mud Club with Boy George, etc. at Bagleys. And Philip was much more than a picker, but he was very flamboyant. I mean, I played for Philip at Boy George's party in some school in somewhere. I played for Philip Salon and Joseph Corey, who is Vivian Westwood's son, for something weird party. I played for Philip Salon at Adrenaline Village the night Diana died, which is one of the weirdest nights of my life.
I remember that day, yeah.
But Philip Salon would always kind of come across right weird now. Philip Salon would say, Trace, would you wear a wedding dress on stage? I said, and I went along with some of it, because he liked flamboyancy. And there was Charles, he's a dancer. You would know Charles, black guy, beautiful black man, amazing dancer. Me and him connected. And I used to run my own parties. That's when I said to Philip, let me do a party here. Because remember, I'm still barred from the ministry at this point. And then I went back to the ministry. I said, let me back. I'm in Bagleys. He said, yeah, we know you are. So that all got a bit mingled up. And I used leverage. And I said, I'm bringing a lot of people there. I'll bring them here. I still love the ministry. I thought if I play it right, I've got both. And then I moved back into the ministry, remained there for 4 years.
So what nights was it? Friday, Saturday?
Saturday.
Because we used to do Freedom a lot at Bagleys. That was my thing. But obviously, as many people will know throughout this whole podcast, I was very much Strawberry Sundays, Sunny Side Up.
Right.
Very much that. And it was that era when, as you say, you went to ministry all the time or you went to Bagleys. You didn't really venture off elsewhere.
We was forced to. I
sometimes
had no choice.
To after parties, we would go to like the Tunnel Club or Channel and
I did
Freshly Squeezed, 4 on 4 Club, places like that. But they were like pretty much afters or on a Sunday, or if we were like getting really messy. But you would have your core staple venues, one or two, and Strawberries was my core. And then I think I had a little bit of trouble with its license of Cloud9, and then we started experimenting with Bagleys. And, and I just fell in love with the whole, both venues, and the Cross, of course.
Brilliant. I was very loyal to Ministry when I was there, though. It got to a stage where I guess this can be taken the wrong way. At some point, when Ministry give me the bar, the baby box, the upstairs room, and 4 hours in the box, that was my pinnacle. I then said, can I put sub promoters in the box to test them out? I'll vet them. I'll make sure they bring minimum 200 people. You're making most of the money. Never made much money at the Ministry. So I had a line in them days of so many sub promoters that wanted to get involved with me. So I would use them to bump my numbers up, be transparent in the financial side. I only earned a $5 a person from the Ministry. There's no big money until I switched to Terminal. Then it just Smarty Party took off. Like Danny Newman still quotes me when I see him, Trace, you was one of the best, if not the best, outside promotions I've ever had. I'm switching to Terminals now. Because when I got really bedded in with Ministry, it started to get 5 years. It was a bit much. And they asked me to put my price up. It was 10 quid with my pass, right? Yeah. 3 quid me or 4 quid me and the rest of that. They said, Trace, can you go up to 12 quid and you can have the 2 quid? I said, no, because no one's cared about 3 quid. I won't get the numbers. And you're about numbers. On that ticker, you have to see how many Smarty Pie people got. By the way, I had my brother by the till on the clicker and they hated that. They didn't know he was half blind. That's the Milky Bar kid. Right? I paid my brother 100 quid just to be near the till to go click.
We do it as well, still.
You've got to do it. I've told so many people over the years, Dex, over the years, I've had loads of people say to me, Trace, I'm doing a night at the Ministry. I said, pay someone to click. What do you mean? I said, pay someone to click so there's no trust in, so there's no devious shit going on.
No, I didn't have to do that. We still to this day have mechanics in place to cover that, because you just don't know. And sometimes there can be a genuine fuck up over money, and
I've had that.
You need someone to be sitting there at the same time as the venue person, so they can agree or disagree. Plus, you sometimes need an additional person clicking as well, if
and see how close they are.
Yeah, because I've transparency is the most crucial thing in nightclub promotion, especially these days. And so you're right. Yeah, you do need those systems in place.
When my reign at Ministry was over, and I still owe them for the training grant, and then I had to find another venue, Terminals was on my radar. And the reason Terminals was on my radar, funny enough, we spoke about EC1 Club. I used to run that with a night on Sunday called Open When Shut.
Shut.
It was me, yeah. I had to diversify this. I think it was Dominic Spreadlove was running a night down there. I was the percussionist at the aquarium with everything else going on with Timmy Ramjan. And it used to close, I think I'm right, at midnight then. And I don't know why, but I found myself going down to the EC1 Club owned by the Adams. And when I went in there, it was dismal. It was a bit, because everybody was going to Twice as Nice, Steve Gordon, across the river. That was the big one. And it's garage, where Smarty Party has always been and has always been a house, whatever variation you want to call that. We can talk about that later. So anyway, I went into the EC1 Club and I looked at it. And then I went back there for a meeting with Terry. He said, we met. I said, your Sunday nights here. I said, why are they empty? He said, everyone goes to Twice as Nice. I said, give me a night in here. He said, we can't trade. Yeah, but listen to this. And it's a bit of another boast, if you like, but it's facts. But I said, would you let me do a night here? It will kind of be what you might call soulful house / garage. There was a crossover point. UK garage, I've never really liked it. He said, Trace, we've got a promoter in here. I said, well, he's getting 100 people. I said, give it to me so you don't mind. Anyway, moving on. They gave me the night. no, it wasn't Dominic Spread Love, it was someone else. But I had a night and I called it Open When Shut. So a month before I did my first night, I paid a month's rent. It was only about 400 quid. I give them for 1,600 quid, I think. I said, I want to promote it, shut it, so people know it's shut. And then it's going to be open when shut, right? So they trusted me. A month leading up to there, which is just down the road from the aquarium, 10 minutes, I had Matt Jamlam on and all those guys big in my night up. Musically, I suppose it's called speed garage, but the music was a little bit funkier than just dark underground.
Yeah. I remember the era. I remember the era well, and the sound well.
So my first night, I'm promoting it. I make a phone call. Phones are a bit smaller now, and I think Carlos Francisco. I said, Carlos, get in there for 11:30. Get the music playing. Message me if everything's all right and they're all set up because we shut here soon, and some people might come down. I've been promoting it for 3 weeks. I even got who was it? I don't know. Some big MC. It's not really my thing, MCing, by the way. I don't really like it, but this was a money thing first of all. Anyway, they come to Open When Shut, come to every night. Even Nigel Ben walked past. I said, Trace, can I have a guest list? I went, oh, fucking hell. But only you though, right? And he went, yeah. I said, when you get there, my brother there, Milky, you've met him, and Claire, say Trace said I can have a guest. Is that all right, Nigel? Because you're you, right? He said, yeah, thanks. So Nigel leaves. Colton, no, he weren't there. Dave caught me, every other gangster in London. I thought they weren't even going to me. They were just being nice because I knew them all. The last person leaves, the cleaners downstairs. Anyone else in there? They've all left. I thought, fuck, I better get down to my club. Might be 20 people in there. Dex. I couldn't get my car anywhere near there, right?
Wow.
No, but wait, because of course I don't know yet. I think it's a traffic jam. I thought, what's going on here? I've got to get in there. Carlos has got to carry on, or my other DJ was probably EZ or someone for a tenner, right? I said, I've got to get someone, Jesse James, I don't know who it was. I parked near Farringdon Station, up the road, funny enough, near Terminals, and I walked back, and there's 1,000 people outside my night, and I'm thinking, they ain't let them in, the fucking doorman. I get through the crowd, I know half the people, I've been playing the bongos in the aquarium for a month, and they know me anyway. I get to the front, the doorman say, Trace, I said, why the fuck ain't you letting people in there? I said, go downstairs. I thought, well, what the fuck's wrong here then? I was a little bit. Go downstairs, full up. You can't get to the toilet. I thought, fuck. They said, Trace, what are we going to do with all this crowd? I mean, I don't fucking know. So they're all paying to get in. Carlos is saying, who's on next? I said, you can't get in here. Just keep playing. It was a mess. But what a mess, right? The night was so tense. There's a big story behind this. Again, it's in this book. I can't go on. We'll be talking for hours just about EC1. I ran it for 6 months. It was the most successful thing I've ever done, but it became so dark and naughty. I destroyed my own night. I'm talking about earning $5,000 every night, right? I decapitated my own night. I all in the book. I did no flyers, or I just booked Carlos, Adrian DeAge, and Billy No Mates, right? Music was all right though, right? I stopped promoting it. I stopped getting involved with the aquarium because I didn't like the aggro, right? And it got busier for 2 weeks. So where I'm saving $4,000 promotion, it's nothing now. That's a drink bill for Chef Troxer, isn't it? Right? I literally had more money, but I hated it. And then it got dark. And then something happened at Steve Gordon, who kind of was a mate of mine. He's a flyer boy, started beating my flyer boys up because he got bothered by me there. We've spoken about this after when I used to run the Mermaid Theatre. Anyway, so I was rinsing them of people because I'm just down the road and I'm cheaper and the drinks are cheaper and it's safe because the Adams own it. Right? The police won't come nowhere near it in them days. Anyway, it started to go down a bit from a 12. I think Andy Old's 1,200. It's not big. Down, and then it got a bit low. And then they asked to see me in the office. Hey, Trace, what's going on with the night? Do you need any money to book all these big DJs? I went, no, it's just lost its time. And it went down a bit, and I loved it. I was just waiting for them to say, you got to go. And they said, Trace, we can help you. What do you need? And I said, look, give it to someone else. And that's when Dominic Spread Love took it over, I think. I stepped out of it.
Yeah.
He only had it for a couple of weeks, then it became a strip club, Secrets, I think.
So it was like a gut feeling that was just like,
it was
it's run its
horrible.
time. Yeah,
I'm not
that era did have a very dark element to it as well. I mean, yeah,
terrified me. I'm not, I've been around that and it taught me lessons. But the thing, again, in this book, I'm pushing my book, some of the things that happen in there. David Vincent said, Trace, can Sam Holt, you won't know who he is, it's his boy, David Vincent Sankey, right? And can Sam Holt play for you? I said, it has to go a little bit sort of US funky soul, but I can, of course you can. And he said, I'll give you another gig wherever. Sankey or whatever. I said, well, I don't want to gig at Sankey. I've got too much. But bring Sam down. David Vincent recently asked me about it. So Sam Holt's playing David Vincent's prodigy. I'm playing percussion. Then all of a sudden the whole music's changed. I've looked over at Sam Holt's wife, and there's a black guy in my DJ booth. Listen to this. And then I go. So I thought, what the fuck's going on here? So I've walked over. There's a real dodgy someone there, and called, can I call him my mate? Yeah, rest in peace. There's Dave called you there. Said, Trace, you got a bit of a problem here. This is where all the sounds going. Now I'm off my head, right? I said, who the fuck's this DJ? So I go over to him. Dave Vincent said it's EZ. He thinks it's EZ. I said, no, it was. So I said, excuse me, mate, who are you? Because Sam Holt's been pulled off with a gun to his head. So I'm in the middle of this dark, smoke, crack-ridden club. And the DJ, because he lifted up his head and said, Trace, I'm sorry about this, but I've been told I've got to play. And I'm like, fuck. So then it all went a bit weird. I've ended up in the office. I'm being threatened. And it went so dark. That's when I decided, I'm ending this. It was horrible, Dex. It was horrible. I could go home and think, am I going to get home? They used to say to me, Trace, you need a bodyguard taking this money home. It got horrible.
Yeah, no, I remember a few clubs nights getting ripped, robbed of their takings going home.
I know.
Yeah, it happened a few times on various venues, the same brand. And
it happened to me once with someone else's money. I was gassed for someone else's door money. They trusted me. There was some money gathered from an event. I said, Trace, can you take this money home for us? So we'll give you $2,000. Yeah, we'll give you $2,000. All right. No, can you drop it off with someone? Me, silly, naive, me with his ponytail and white beard.
Were you a bit younger then and a bit more naive, yeah?
Well...
or did you just have no choice?
I was fearless. No, I had a choice. I was fearless and I got gassed for this and I lost it and I was in hell for a while. Again, Dave called me because in my book, I just called him DC. And he's died since I wrote this. In fact, we've spoken about this.
Yeah, I know. Sadly.
Me and him have spoken about this book. I said, I'm calling you DC. He said, no, call me Dave. But I didn't want to. I wish I'd have done that. I couldn't see him. I like him. Liked him. Bless him. So he said to me, Trace, if you would have gone that night with, unless it was someone like him, with a bodyguard to give the money over, you'd have got shot. They would have shot you both in the back of the head. They got in the back of my car, the people that gassed me. I trusted them to drive around the corner, to hand the money over. It's all in Gants Hill and it's all weird stuff. It's very much in detail in this, but that was a dark, dark moment in my life. But it really got me close to Dave. Really close. In fact, for years after, I never hanged around with him. I never had his champagne with him. I never said I know him and all that. But he done me a huge favour. I know exactly how he done it. I know what he did because the person that I ended up with a gun in my face just to scare me off. And it did. He found out who that was. And fucking hell, I wouldn't want to be him, right? For putting a gun. I'm no little boy, Dex, but when I had that, it's a shotgun in my face. I was like, I've got to swallow this debt. I've got to swallow this money that I lost through being gassed, and etc. Until I got connected with Dave, and we went into the toilet in his club. And he said, "So I know exactly what's happening. Come and see me when these two are gone." He said, "Because you've been done here, you've been set up, and I'll sort it out." Yeah, he said, "I'll sort it out for you." It took a while for me to believe and trust that he did it. I know how he did it. I know what he did, how he did it. And when that was done, for about a year, I was on edge. Then I was, never again am I getting in that dark stuff. And I never have.
So Turnmills, that was obviously that was after all of this.
Yes.
How did that all come about? We haven't, because that was a pinnacle of your Smarty parties, because I remember hearing about these parties, but as I said, I was really loyal at the time. What years were you in the Turnmills?
I think about 1989, somewhere around there. We was looking for a new venue. Fabric wasn't open yet. Pasture kind of open, but wasn't big enough.
SW1 Club, wasn't it?
Yes. And Turnmills came on my radar through Tony Tambourine. You know Tony?
Yep.
He said, Trace, do you want to do the back room? It's called the Juno room. For us, I'm not a backroom promoter. By then, I was really established, and I'm not a backroom promoter. I know my worst case minimum numbers, whether it be a warehouse without the need of big DJs and without the need of the right venue and walk up, which happened with us at Scala. I know my core numbers. I know my worst case numbers was about 600-700. Even if I did it in your garden, right? Yeah. Without any advertising of big DJ. Anyway. So I said, Tone, I'll do it, but I want it to be noted by, I didn't know Danny Newman then, or Tor Paul. I want it to be noted by them. He said, I'll ask Danny to come along. So the night starts, Juno room, I made it beautifully with my dancers and drums and that, and people are flying in, but I had to charge 10 quid. He let me charge 10 quid. That was very fair. Tony Tambourine was very fair. I'm on the front all the time. There was a normal queue, guest list queue, never a big guest list at Mill, and paid and whatever. And I'm on the gate. And I said, where's Danny? Danny comes, hi Trace, nice to meet you, all that. While I was standing talking to Danny, at least 100 people came up to the fence. Said, Trace, I've got your pass. Where do I go? I said, there. I went, wait, Dan, a sec, please. Go there. Make sure you show it at the till. Danny said, Trace, it ain't even 11 o'clock yet. I said, note this. Wait. Then he come back out again. He said, Trace, we've checked on the till. We've got 390 people. Just at that minute, about another 30 came out. I said, Trace, we want to come in. We've got a coach over there, but we ain't got your pass. I'm like, well, just pay then. I said, that ain't going to go on the till, is it? So can I see you on Monday? Go and see him on Monday. I said, thanks to Tony for bringing me here, but you saw, I don't know how many of my numbers are. He said 480. I said, plus how many? I don't know. Give me a night here. He said, Trace, everyone's trying to get in here. Everyone was trying to get in there. Then Cole Cox nights and Tiesto, and great club, right? So when there was 5 Saturdays in the month, can't remember what month they did, he'd give me one of the Saturdays. I said, if I smash this, there's the whole club now, 5 rooms, 6 rooms. I created another room with the bar, DJ thing. I just had 2,500 people there. I said, now give me a weekly, a month. Yeah, all right. And that's the best club, the best run club, the most loyal club, and financial as well, club I've ever known in my life. And my biggest DJ might be Tim Deluxe or Joey Negro, which are great, but they're $2,000. CJ Mackintosh, Jazzy M. I never went into the huge level. There was a few times Danny said, Trace, David Guetta is available. He was quite good then. He's $4,000 or $5,000.
Didn't need it though. Then
that's why I stood by
the brand.
I stood the brand, my brand. I said, Dan, I'm not paying $4,000 for him. He said, but I don't want him playing at Fabric, or Fabric was open now. So I said, well, I ain't paying it. And Dan is very loyal, but very strong and very professional. He almost got annoyed with me, right? I said, I ain't going to book him. I said, I will get as many people as he gets without that. I think I even booked Andy Manson then, and Clockwork had folded by then. I said, you get involved with me, Andy. You can ask him this if you do one of these with him. I got him involved with me as a resident because Danny was off, just off. And Clockwork died, right? By then, I'm diversified. I owned the Glass House, the Mermaid Theatre then. That's a whole new story. But I owned that. And I got Andy to do a back room for me, but push it. And if Danny don't mind, you can call it Clockwork Reunion if you want. I only got about 40 people then, by the way. But I got all this involved, and my nights at Turnmills you said earlier on, Dex, never lost money. I nearly lost money once when the tube bombing, 7/7 or whatever it was, because it's Farringdon Tube, right? That's the only time I nearly lost money. But that night for me was mind blowing. And at 9 o'clock in the morning, you had a full club, and you got trade wanting to come in. It's Sunday, right? There's 500 boys in hot pants outside, and I'm going out there, and they're not pushing me out. Terry used to run it down there. He said, "Trace, we got to close you." I said, "At 9, right?" He said, "But look at the street." He said, "Look at the street." I said, "What about if you shut T2 down the steps with the glass bricks?" You remember that? And let them in there. And I moved there. And then as that's packed, we slowly moved to the other rooms. He went, "Fucking hell, what an idea." That's what we did. So Terminals them days used to open for gallery and not close till Monday. Ever. 24 hours.
What times? Yeah. I mean, glorious times.
I love Terminals.
Yeah, it was just an amazing, it's just an amazing area as well for clubbing, wasn't it? It was just, I loved it down there. I loved it down there.
I love that club. Still my favourite. I know you got the end or the cross.
Absolutely. And so obviously you've got this big UK journey. When did you come to Ibiza? Because you did Privilege at Ibiza, didn't you?
Wow, what a thing to do. I did some parties in Italy for a promotion called Mondina or Modena. I can't really remember, but I was flying out there and doing Smarty Parties there. I wasn't bringing people. I was bringing my brand, my visuals. I had some visuals then. I think it was a slide projector. And banners, and me playing, and my DJs. And that night in Italy was amazing. I get a phone call maybe in March in 1999, and I'd never been to Ibiza before. The only reason I've never been to Ibiza, I'm not a DJ, so it's not like I'm not going there some plan. It's because when Ibiza was flying, you'll know more about this than I do. I capitalised on that by bringing Alex Miles or Oliver Lang over to me. I
was with Ollie the other day. Ollie was at Amnesia with us.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Right. So I get a phone call. "Hi, Trace. This is blah, 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 who you met in Italy. Would you be interested in doing Ibiza?" Now, I was kind of, Ibiza's Ibiza, isn't it? I said, "Well, I'm not really sure." He said, "It's the opening party of Privilege, Millennium 2000. Because I just come off the back of my Millennium Party in London, which was mind-blowing. God, if the tax man saw that night, I'd get killed. All right. So it's Privilege." He said, "We'll pay you a brand fee. You book the DJs, bring your decor, etc., and we'll pay you this, 6,000, I think it was." So I'm going to Ibiza. So Marshall Jefferson, Carla Francisco, my resident, a guy called Pinky Williams from Holland, who was something to do with brokering the deal, 2 other residents, and all my decor. I've always had really cool decor. Still got it somewhere. Used to all go in big surfboard bags, loads of stuff. I can dress Privilege. It's Privilege, right? There's a great video of this. So I'm there. I have seen some
footage.
My decor is amazing.
I've seen photos. I don't think I've seen video, but I've definitely seen photos of Smarty Party and you.
My decor was amazing because I had a guy called Rupert Ashmore. He lives on a boat next to the Battersea Power Station. He lives on a ship, an old ancient ship. He's a genius. He's worked with Pink Floyd and everything. He's my mate. I can't afford him. He said, "Trace, let me make your decor." He did my decor for Ministry. He did it for Egypt, and he did it for Privilege. And it's I can't explain it. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. Anyway, so I'm dressed in Privilege. The DJ booth is in the runway, in the swimming pool with the round bit. And my percussion set up, sadly, Dex, my percussion was set up wrong. There was a delay from when I hit it to when you heard it. And I ain't a technology man. Something was wrong there. And the night started, and I had to guess. You kind of can when you're a percussionist, the beat. I had to literally hit it. I had to hit it knowing it's going to come out wrong if I hit it wrong. So I had to hit it wrong to make it come out right. Does that make sense? And it worked, but I was up on the podium, the night open. If I'm correct, Trade had the Vista room, but shut off. We had the main room. And when I first arrived here and went to Playa de Bossa Beach, and I'm on the beach, and Flyers was teamed with down then, I remember walking through Ibiza Old Town, and my Smarty Party, the manga face, banners everywhere. How proud am I? I'm like, my God, this is a mind-blowing moment. And I'm on the beach, and the guy's giving flyers out, and I thought, I hope he comes up to me. And he comes up to me, and I'm too nervous to say, that's me. And did the night. It was the truth. We probably only had 3,000 people in that big room. Yeah, it thins out. If you only have about 3,000 people, it starts to thin out at 4 a.m. But it was all right. We did it. It was successful. I come home. Yeah. I have a beautiful video of this, which I've got all this stuff I'm going to show my little boy, right? Because he'll go, what's this universe? I said, well, it used to be called Privilege. 25 years ago, I did the opening of that. I actually, at one point, a good friend of mine, Angie, is Natuta's accountant. She can talk to him. I said, Ange, can I put something to you? 25 years ago, I did Privilege. This was nearly a year ago. 25 years ago, she said, yeah, I've seen the video. It's amazing. I said, I'm thinking of doing an opening party, not necessarily dance or house music, but a viewing for the island. She said, explain. I said, right, before it opens, when it's finished, it weren't finished yet. I said, I would be very interested in arranging in all the arenas, live music, DJs, a walkthrough for the island, but it's got to be free. I can get all the musicians and artists and everything free, so it mustn't cost me money. Would you be interested in putting this to Matuti's so that 25 years after the anniversary of Smarty Party, no big deal to him, a walkthrough? And for a little while, I had this great idea. You know this is a good idea. And because I have got my finger on the pulse of the hippies, or whatever you want to call them, and all the musicians on the island are my friends, and I know so many different people from different fields, Dex, I can tap into them. You'll see when this video goes out, right? So I started saying, I shouldn't shoot the gun too quick sometime, doing a walkthrough so that you can all take it. But they've got to not charge €10 for water, because that's what they'll be judged on. That's what people on this island judge a night on, the cost of the water. Well, DC10, although it's DC10, is €7 for a water, or it was last New Year's Day when I go, the only time I go. And people judge it on that, and it's like, all right, I'm going. So I kind of nearly had it ready, a template, and then Sylvia had said, can you handle all this? And you know what? I wind my ego down. I thought, no, I can't. It's too much. So I said to him, you haven't spoken to him yet? She said, no, I can't just speak to him after having an appointment. I said, I ain't going to do it. She went, oh, why? It'd be amazing. I went, no, I'm not. So I set the gun out.
Stress. You can just imagine the stress level.
Mate.
You'd be like, fuck.
It would have backfired.
Do you know what? You wouldn't have enjoyed it. If it went well, you would have enjoyed it afterwards. You know. That's because I don't enjoy the big nights that we do. I find them, and I imagine Nick will say the same thing. It's incredibly stressful, but we always enjoy the afterwards when we see that everyone's had a fucking amazing time, and it's just been brilliant. And you get some people who are pissed off with something, but you always get that.
Always.
Once you get to a certain amount of people, you can't please everyone, and that's just how it is. And yeah, I think I even left Kevin and Perry at Amnesia a little bit early.
Did you tell everyone or just go? Did you just go?
Back door all the time.
Dex, I've done that, and I've had a text say, Trace, where are you? And I'm in my bed, right? This is not Terminals or Ministry, but Scala, maybe. I'm in my bed. This is why Bora Bora was called, Dex. I know one of your questions talks about Bora Bora. This is why I did Bora Bora for 3 years, because I was off duty. There was no the DJ booth then was...
was that in the G days?
No, after Alex Miles, Oliver, he's home. All right, so we did that. The very first time I did Bora Bora, and I got Bora Bora, this is another one of your questions, was one of the most beautiful moments of my promoting career. And this is why. We had just done some stuff, and I was asked to do Alex P's birthday party at Space. Great party, right?
I was there.
Well, yeah, but when we did it, I walked out because it was a bit of a mess. Sorry, Alex, Brandon, we spoke about this. It became a mess. I didn't know when they was going to set me up. There was, bless them too, I love them. It was so unorganised, and I was with Tall Paul and I think Mark Wilders. I can't remember. We was all meant to play, and no one knew when they was playing. So I had 200 friends because they wanted to see me play, and Carlos and Matty. I managed to get them to play one record. And then I text Alex Miles, who was running Bora Bora then. I said, Alex, it's Trace. He said, yeah, we're all coming. I said, wait. This is a text, not a call. I said, wait. He said, what? I said, look, if I walk out of here, one of my moments, right, with a group of people, can I have a DJ play there? I know you've got it programmed and I know you might have whoever playing there. He went, you can have the rest of the evening if you want. Why are you leaving? I said, can I tell you when I get there, but stay there? He said, yeah. I ran around like a lunatic. I said, come with me. I must have gathered, I'll be really honest with you, I gathered about 300 people. We literally walked across the road. But listen, this is the best bit because Matty and some of them had their music with them. It's a bit more complex than this. The next thing they're playing in there. And then I said to Matt, Alex Marr, I said, can I do the closing party? And he said, you can have a monthly if you want. So the lads who was around me, my friends that weren't even playing because they couldn't get on the decks, some of them, I said, you coming in September for the closing party? It used to be September, right, before October. I said, yeah. I said, bring your records. And I went, what, have you got space again? I went, I'm never doing space again. We've got it. They went, you're joking. And no one's being paid. I think we're being paid for drinks. I might have got a burger. And it was amazing because I'm off duty. As soon as the DJ's on and people are done, I can almost look at it and go, wow, I'm not the manager here. It's running itself. Loved it. Stayed there for a few years.
Yeah. No, I pretty much know what Alex P's party you're on about. What made you decide that Ibiza was going to be your home? And has it changed you as a person? Obviously, you've been a percussionist. You're very spiritual, obviously. Have you always been like that?
What, spiritual? Spiritual. Well, spirituals are...
You are spiritual, aren't you?
Well, it depends on what
meditation
spiritual...
and the universe and that sort of side of things.
To a point, not too fluffy, although this is a fluffy thing. But what changed my mind was, it's a big thing that changed my mind. I, as I said earlier, used to own the Mermaid Theatre. And then when that folded, I briefly owned the Buzz Bar in the West End.
Oh, God.
The Gas Club. I know.
Yes.
I had that. I took it over with my then business partner, but I didn't like it. It lost its fame. It was just wrong. I walked out of it. And not only did I just walk out of it, I walked out because I had terminals and it was flying. So I walked away from being the licensee and the owner and everything from this place and passed it to my then business partner, which is Millbank, right? And he took it wherever he took it. He had our infrastructure, our sofas, our stock of drink from the glass house, and anything he wanted. I didn't want nothing. And we shook hands, kind of. And I even helped him put a couple of parties on there, boat party, after parties. But I never liked it. I didn't like the West End. I know the end was amazing, but that's a different animal. I didn't like it and I stepped out. I was flying in terminals. And then a friend of mine called Mason Haynes, do you know him? 7-foot bodyguard, like lovely bloke.
Yes,
yeah,
I do.
He used to run this. But he kind of, we knew each other, and he said, "Trace, have you heard of the meat bar next door to Fabric, the meat bar?" So I said, "No." He said, "Well," he said, "I'm my boss then owns it." He said, "Do you want to put any parties on here?" I said, "I'm in terminals." I said, "I can't." He said, "Yeah, but we spoke a while ago, and you said you got a line of sub promoters." He's clever. Why don't you stick them in here to prove himself and then stick them in here? What an idea that was. So I ended up running the meat bar. I said to Danny, "Look, I'm doing this, but I'm not watering down. I'm capacity all the time. But these are promoters. Some of them, Jesse James connected and Fuse came to me. Look at them now, right? And because they're kind of my friends, right? I said, Trace, we want to get involved in terminals with you. And some of them are big, Kinky Malinky and all these people. I said, do you want to do a night in here? Come and Meet me. It's next door to Fabric. Immediately next door to Fabric. There's 3 rooms.
Could you describe it to me? Was it upstairs, downstairs, and then like a cellar?
3 rooms. 3 rooms. There's 3 small rooms.
On top of each other?
Yeah.
Hear me out here. First time I ever went to the place, my friend Rob had his wedding reception there. Okay.
Right.
Then the second time I ever went there, I was on a date with a girl who I met at Stringfellows, one of the girl dancers.
Right.
And Browns.
Right.
And that's where we met.
Wow.
And we started seeing each other from that point. And so I know that place like the back of my hand. And I even DJ'd there. My God, what a small world. Yeah.
This gets quite extreme, this. So I was running that club, but I said to Mason, give me the Saturdays, because I'm Saturdays. And this is the deal I want. You can talk to your boy. I want 500 quid cash every Saturday. I'm going to pass you a promoter. I'll vet them. I'll make sure they know what they're doing and they've got a following. If they get less than 200 people, which is the pressure I put on them, then you can knock me for the 500 quid. Or tell me your bar spend, and it's fair. If you get less than that, you can knock me for 500 quid. Because I looked up him 7 feet. I said, I'm hardly going to say anything, am I? If you accept that deal, I'll begin in 2 weeks' time. So I did it. And I put on, funny enough, a guy called Scott Mocken, bless him, he's quite a good DJ now. He's a Jehovah's Witness. This is a weird one, this, right? I said, Scott, you keep asking to get involved with me in Turnmill. I said, you say you do a party, but do they drink? He said, yeah, they drink like mad. And I said, come with me, because he met me at Turnmills on the corner where I used to always have my free tapas. Funny enough, tapas. Right. Walked him into the meat bar, showed him the 3 rooms. He said, what's the hire fee? I said, 500 quid. Right. I said, that goes to me. Right. But I have to give them that if you don't perform. So you got to get 200 plus people. You get 199, I lose 500 quid. You get over, you're the greatest man, and I'll put you in the Juno room in Turnmills. So it's a great feeder, right? Anyway, this happens. And at that time, I've got massive success there. I've walked away from the gas club thing. Turnmills is flying. I've got unlimited promoters coming to me from all over England, coaches and everything, but I can't fit them in, but I don't want to lose them. So I'm pumping them in there. And then I had a Ferrari then, forgive me. I had a really nice yellow Ferrari. And I used to, not when the clubs were open because it's too many people, but I used to drive to a Monday to the meat bar to collect my 500 quid off of Mason in an envelope. So I remember, this is in the book, I pull up opposite the meat bar. Mason walks across the road to my yellow Ferrari, gives me a brown envelope, and I remember this is a great story. Some bloke in a blue jumper goes, oh, why have you got a fucking red one? Why have you got a yellow one? I'm like, so Mason's a boy, mate. He said, do you want me to have a word with him? I said, no, he's just an idiot drunk, leave him. He said, there's your money trade, brilliant. I want to talk to you because the owner wants to sell the club. I mean, I don't buy a fucking club, I can't. Thanks. So I drive away, I get to near the leisure lounge, and four police cars come flying towards me, handbrake turn in front of my Ferrari, out with guns. This is true. It doesn't sound real, does it? Get out of the car, please. No, don't move your hands, or get out of the car and all that. And I went, no roof on my car, they're that low. Legal. He said, sir, can you step out the car? So I said, I'll step out. I said, who's in charge here? Because I kind of know what I'm doing, so I said, sir, I said, who's in charge? Let me tell you what's happened. Listen to me. Some bloke in a blue jumper has just rang you, said I've collected drugs or something, right? You don't have to admit he's just round there. This is who you should talk to. This is what I got. It's my wages. Look at it. Search my car. And they went, that's exactly what's happened. I said, I know it has, right? So I said, sir, can you rev the engine? It was really cool. I said, well, I've got around the corner. Mason. Well, I said, is that bloke with the blue jumper still there? He said, yeah. Guess what he just done? He went, I'll fucking kill him. I said, no, wait. Scary. He said, no, fuck that. And the family, I thought, fuck. I went home, I sat there, I thought, I hope you ain't fucking not killed him, but bashed the hell out of him because he's drunk. He's an idiot. What they did, in the toilet, in the meat bar, one of these security waiters who went for a piss, shut the door, went in there like a scene out of fucking Scum. Ray Winston, great film. He shoved him up against where he's pissing, so he pissed all over himself. He said, next time you fucking ring the police, mate, think about who you're ringing it about. He told me he did that. So that's what happened there. The next thing, it's for sale, the club. And I ain't got the money, I don't want the money. I'll get to the point now. But I go back to Jez Milbank, who I'd already given a club and has also earned money from me for 7 years at the Glass House. He was all the paperwork, the management, the legal stuff. He was great at that. But I know now he was siphoning off me, but I didn't care. I earned so much money. I wouldn't have noticed $5 grand going out my money everywhere. I just wouldn't know, right? I was that scatty and stupid. So he reached me. But I didn't know that then. I say, do you want to buy a club? He said, well, how much is it? I said, well, I don't know, but I'll pass it to someone. I don't want to buy it, but I'm already running it. So I can run it to you. I know the bar spend about. You buy it with someone and I'll just put promoters in there. I wanted to stay as I was. Cut a long story short, we ended up buying it between us. My house had a 60 grand mortgage on the Thames, a beautiful house. So I nearly owned it outright. Long story short, he borrows £500,000 and I let him do it on my house as equity. And he done me. He spent about 2 years setting something up. It got out of hand. My world went crap. I'll get to the point. This is why I came here. Am I right saying all this? Right. So I had it running perfectly, and Enzo from Fuse at one point wanted it. And look, you know Enzo. He wanted that venue. Everyone wanted it because not just because it was mine, but a little bit of that. They know I know what I'm doing. I was now the owner, part 50-50 owner within, right? And he used to knock them all back. Jesse James, he used to knock because he's there taking drugs. You fucking used to sell drugs, you idiot, when you work for Well Dance or whatever, because that's what he is. So me and him divide. I started to hate that like I did Open When Shut, even though I own that now, or 50-50. He stitched me up. It got so bad, it's so complex. Again, it's all in detail in there. It's to do with I give him power of attorney because I was too lazy to go and sign 50 checks every week. So I says, oh, you sign it. Well, you know what? A mug, right? Well, I'm not a mug because look where I am now. I know where he is, right? So he done this thing to me, and then disappeared. He went to Australia, disappeared from his own people, friends, and me, so he could rip me off of £500,000, 480,000. Ripped me off. I lost my house. I lost everything. And I was in a dark place. Of course, the silly Ferrari went and Harley Davidsons and Smarty Party folded because of this, in truth. Because I was terrified.
That's why the Smarty Party kind of died.
Yeah, because I couldn't risk even 10 grand on a party.
Did you do a closing party?
Yeah, with Danny. Oh, what a story that is. There's a video of this as well. I'm changing
I remember something about a closing party for Smarty Party.
My closing party at Turnmills had so many people queuing down the road. Terry said, Trace, you got to put the price up. I said, I don't want to put the price. He said, you've got to charge more to get rid. So I put it up to 25 quid and there was people paying 10 minutes for it shut. I just had a full 1 in, 1 out from midnight and they didn't leave. I don't know whether they had Walkmans on or something, but they wouldn't leave the queue. They just wanted one last record and it was my night. And it was just mine because I found another club then, which ironically I went to Starlo and then back to the end, which was the Den. Didn't work out for us there. Then I went to Vauxhall because I tried to keep it alive, but then this problem happened, Dex, and I couldn't risk 10 grand because if I lost that 10 grand, because I lost my house and everything, and I was in financial crap for a while. First time I knew what coffee cost and how much petrol cost. So I went to a real dark place of losing everything, a house. My relationship ended. We're friends now. That was 18 years. Claire, bless her, love her to bits. She's on a great path now, as am I. But that put me in a dark place from this guy. And I actually, where I might not say Dave Courtney in there, I do say Jez Milbank. And if he wants to sue me, do it. All right. So do it. And listen to this. A couple of years later, someone said, Trace, we know where this guy is that owes you this money. Sell us the debt. This is the truth. They offered me, Dex, £250,000 cash in a bag if they can take on my 480 plus whatever debt. And they said, we'll give you the cash tomorrow. because what happened was when I was in some shit, I ended up working for the London Olympics, right? And I ended up flying again. I was a finder, a fixer, a runner for a German TV company. And my life went crazy financially again. But it scared the shit out of me how much money I was earning. And then these people came to me in their black Range Rovers. They wanted to do the security on what I was working on the Olympics. It was all to do with canal boats. Again, it's all in there. It's a massive multi-million-pound thing. And I was in charge of it, apart from my boss, German lady. They came to me. And the reason they came to me is a bodybuilder who used to train with me was now one of their, he's died now, Darren. He's one of their people. He's about 22 stone, or was, and he wanted to help me because he knew my story. So he brought these people to me, SAS guy, someone else. I ain't going to name drop now. I never ever asked Dave Courtney to get involved in this. The trace, because Darren says you're old school and you're his friend, we want to help you. But I was all right then. I was working on the Olympics. I had my own canteens, my own staff, my own food. I was strong again after being in hell. So I said, how will you get it? I said, well, this is what he does. He's got an entertainment company of some kind in Australia. We will approach him. Trust me, he'll pay us. You don't have to worry about that, but we'll give you £250,000. I said, what will you do to him then? He said, well, you leave that to us. My friend Darren's thinking you're asking too many questions. So I said, can I think about it? No, I didn't say, can I? I said, well, I'll think about it and I'll ring Darren tomorrow if I decide to let you, I think I even use humour, fire the gun as such. Little does he know I saved his life because I thought about it. I thought it was £250,000. I could give that to Claire. And I'm all right now. And I went and saw my 85, 6-year-old dad and told him, he knows what I do. He said, let it go, son. I said, £250,000, Dad. He said, let it go. I mean, don't just say no, let it go. Don't think about it. He said, you're doing all right now, aren't you? I said, yeah, I'm really all right, Dad. I'm
That's
thinking
the
of moving
thing. You're doing all right now.
Yeah. He said, and so anyway, I said, no, let it go. And when the Olympics finished, I was even offered to go to Brazil for the World Cup, which is 2 years later by the same company. And I would have earned massive money, but I was all right. And this is when I severed my pursuit of wealth. I did it almost like a line in the sand.
Materialism disappeared.
Kind of. I still like some stuff, but why do you have
Don't
more
we
stuff?
all?
we do, and I'm still a little bit like it. I still even got a classic car and all that, which he hates.
Yeah. Of course,
but I found this way, and I've got to be really honest with you. It was to do with taking ayahuasca. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I was actually wanting to talk to you about it because this is something I'm very much into, that sort of psychedelic world.
Let me lead it. Sorry to let me lead into.
No,
I was asked to go to an ayahuasca ceremony, and I'm a musician, so I thought I'll go. I've never taken heavy drugs. Dex, I've never taken coke. Now think about that. It's free to me in clubs. Once I took it to shut some girl up who was doing my head in round her house. Because she just to shut her up, and I thought, well, it's all right. It makes me talk a lot. I talk a lot now, right?
Yeah.
I've never done coke, and I pat myself on the back for that because it's free to me. I was a promoter. You want something?
Yeah, of course.
I've never done coke. I do like MDMA sometimes, occasionally. I've never been a drinker, so I'm quite clean, if you like. The ayahuasca thing, I thought, okay, I'll try that. If it's amazing, I'm not someone that go, oh, I'll do that every week. I did a ceremony of that. And the reason I did a ceremony of that was the best way I can describe ayahuasca. It's different for everyone. It lets you see who you are, not who you think you might be. So the ayahuasca, the experience for me, which is over a 12-hour period, it let me think about my mum who I lost when I was 21 and my dad, because he was gone by then, my dad who I lost 10 years ago. And you can ask the question. If it was in a movie, they would, like a proper movie, it would be like a kind of a spirit. You talk about spirit, right? It would be like kind of a mixture of, is that human? Is that your mum? Are they your ancestors? Who are these people? Is that an animal? You can ask a question.
You can't explain it until you've been there, can you?
Yeah. No, you
Yeah,
can't.
it's like psychedelics. It's like mushrooms and things. You can't really explain it until you're there. And different experiences and different mushrooms that give you a different experience every time.
Yeah, it's not for everyone, this stuff.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I totally agree with that. I've never done ayahuasca. I looked at it, obviously, because I had a drinking problem when I come back from Ibiza. I haven't drunk this is my 9th year. And
well done.
I wanted to look, it was obviously inner demons that I wanted to look at. And the 12 steps actually did that process for me.
I understand.
But it needed to be done. And I've heard ayahuasca is kind of a similar.
It's fast track. It's like a fast track of the 12 steps.
Yeah. And I know it's helped other fellow people in the fellowship. They've gone to Brazil to do it and things like that. So, but I don't know too much about it. But I was interested.
I'd always talk to you about it. I've
done
it 4 times. I won't do it no more. 4 times. I will never do it no more. And the only reason I did the last 2 because I was asked to play this on ayahuasca, and it's amazing because you close your eyes and you have the visuals, the tripping. Some people will see those visuals as exact. Some people try and control it and throw up. Some people get scared.
The sickness. That was the one thing I wanted to ask you about it. Does it make you sick?
I've never been sick. No, I was sick once because I tried to musically control it. So when you do this deck with your eyes closed, you almost see notes flying out or the energy of that,
and it's
flying
overpowering.
Out. And what, as a musician, I tried to control it. I tried to go to watch what I tried to understand it, and I went, and it's mind blowing stuff. What it did with me was pull me back in, hopefully balance my ego. An ego is just your perception of who you are, but that can change any moment. Like Lewis Hamilton's ego might be, I'm a great racing driver. Well, you are. Whereas someone else might go, oh, I'm the best model in the world, and you're not. So you might be fighting with your ego. So your ego is your balanced perception, or it should be your balanced perception of who you actually really are. Why am I doing that? When I had my yellow Ferrari, this is an ego thing, out of balance, I would sometimes create a conversation like, hey, John, what car you got now? Just so that he would ask me and I could go, well, I've got a Ferrari. Now, that's the ego.
Well, that's ego talking,
which is not too bad, but that's your ego, like boasting, if you like.
The 12 steps brings out is ego led.
Yes.
I've forgotten, it's got, we used to call it, the ego is, once you start removing the ego, it's a lot easier to recover from addictions. And I saw a documentary about 20 years ago of ayahuasca being used with people who were heroin users, and they were being sick a lot and bringing this, and they were using it as a treatment to not cure them, but try and recover, place them in a position where they're in a better place to recover from the addiction to heroin. And I remember it and I thought, that looks nasty, man, because they were all being sick and scared, and I was just like, not for me. But then I had no idea it was ayahuasca. But then a few years later, I realized, I found out about these things. I think, that must be what that does. But they were using it, but that for that particular documentary for heroin.
That's why I think, Dex, because in the environment when you do it, when I've done it, which is here in a place with a big dome, and there's like 30 or 40 people doing it, amongst those people, everything's going on. People screaming, crying, people not moving, people laughing.
This is exactly what it was in the film.
It's like every single energy is within that one room. Some people are terrified. Terrified. I believe if you're a proper Roman, I mean, I don't mean Nick to Mars bar now and again or whatever, you know what I mean? But I think if you was a proper Roman but trying to hide it, you're fucked. I think you're going to go fuck, But you had that experience just before you die, I believe, as well. Your life. I know this for a fact with my dad. I witnessed it. Your life winds in some way a visual back to you. It might be over a space of time of your life. It tells you who you are. I watched it, Dex, with my dad. Beautiful. He's an amazing man, right? It winds back your life. And there's some blips in there. And it winds you back to now. And then you can pass. It's strong stuff.
It makes sense.
If I knew what I know now, when my poor mum was dying of cancer, right? I was 21, she was just 50, 51. I would have, I couldn't interfere with her then because it was doctors. I knew nothing. I'm a young lad. I was hopeless. If I knew what I knew now, maybe not ayahuasca, I would 100% get magic mushrooms into her.
Yeah, no, mushrooms is commonly people, cancer sufferers have been using mushrooms for several years now, regularly for that. And I'm a massive believer in microdosing. Not so much. I'm not as familiar with the ketamine side, but I know the mushroom side and the psilocybin side of it. I've studied a lot, and I've tried it myself, and it's an incredible thing.
It is.
It is an incredible thing. I mean, my productivity goes from 5 to 10. Like, on
F1 drivers used to take it. Apparently, James Hunt.
Well, it's given out at Apple, at fucking Microsoft, and all these. It's Silicon Valley. It's a must do. Weirdly, I started when I was suffering from anxiety, when I was finished drinking, microdosing truffles, which is very small amounts. I tell you what, I hated it. It made me anxious. I tried all different types of ways of finding that sweet spot, they call it, don't they? Because you can take, with a microdose, you can take too small amount, or you can overdo it, and then you're like, ooh, it's a bit too much. And you have to know your magic, the sweet spot. And measuring it out. Then I started growing my own mushrooms.
We did that and killed them all.
Yeah, and on the cupboard in the summer, it's a nightmare to grow them in it. It's the winter where, and they just on the cupboard, off they go, and I do 2 or 3 batches at a time. And I've found that with golden teacher mushrooms, it absolutely done the trick. It worked so well. But the truffles,
you still take it?
Yes. Having for a while, because you're meant it's your brain cells need to reset.
Back to nature.
But you do get the afterglow for several weeks. But the company that I actually buy them, they do studies on it as well. They sell me the kits, and they've we've done like Zoom calls, because they'll give them to me for free if I do like the studies with them, and it's great. And we talk about so do you how often do you take them? Do you take them every day? What dosage? How long do you have a rest? And they all say you should rest for a month, 2 months, something. And then go back, because you need to come down. And the research that I've been reading is that the people who've been coming off of things like Prozac and anxiety tablets, and they're not even using them anymore, because that is replacing their that medicine, and they're feeling so much better.
Really, that's good.
And I know there's more and more research now being done, because they stopped the research, didn't they? They banned it in the 60s. Is it the 60s or 70s? They literally banned doing the research in the States, and that knocked on to the UK, but now they've really restarted it recently. But I'm a big advocate for the use of any sort of psychedelic, MDMA, ketamine, for medical reasons. Big advocate, because I've read and seen a lot of great stories. I haven't seen much negative about it.
No. Only from people who don't understand or know anything about it. They go straight in. I mean, look at years ago when MDMA. Alexander Shulgin is the inventor, the godfather of MDMA.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean, he when he first created it, because he was the first one, he created it. I think I might be wrong. For the U.S. Army or the British Army, because
Yeah, I've heard that.
they wanted a substance that will calm the guys down when they're at war. But of course, when they're on MDMA, they're not hardly going to shoot someone, are they? And it had the
Yeah.
reverse effect. And then he used to get it into people in New York and everything like that. It wasn't illegal then. And then the government made him test it, and they found it less harmful than caffeine. It was right down the list of
You
what
could get
might
it
be
over the
harmful.
counter at one point, couldn't you?
Exactly that, yeah. I'm quite sure Ministry used to put it in their punch. Remember when Ministry used to bring fruit round?
Yeah,
Before
we used to do
they
punches all
sold
the time
alcohol.
in Ibiza.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done it. Because it used to be a lot easier in Ibiza, and there's a lot of business used to be done in Ibiza, and and there's always crumbs and broken bits left over that could never be sold. And our friends, which is 20 years ago now, 10, 15, 20 years ago, they used to give it to us because they just couldn't sell it, but they did a lot of business around the parties that we were doing and venues and stuff. And we used to just whack it in the punch, and we used to do end of year parties. And,
amazing.
Oh my God, if you did it now, you could end up banged up in Ibiza town.
Well, maybe this is a bit controversial. I won't go into the subject too much, but maybe the Israelis should have sprayed Hamas with MDMA rather than bullets. They might have all come out there dancing, and what a silly thing to say, but you know what I mean by that.
Absolutely. I mean, I know the Germans, they were using some sort of meth, weren't they, for their troops and when they were coming back, because they were literally at the end of the war, they were running out of meth. I've forgotten what it was called now. But they had it in little tins, didn't they? And but that was like making them fearless fighters. But then they ran out, and they were running out of rations and all sorts of stuff. So not only were they having that, they were having withdrawals as well. So it's horrendous. But let's talk about your book quickly, because we've been talking for a while now. When did you start writing it, and what made you decide you wanted to write it?
Right. When I lost my mum in 1979, that's a long time ago, I found myself on a kibbutz in Israel. I just went there backpacking, and I lived in Israel on a kibbutz, working in the banana fields. And you have a lot of time to yourself to think. I kind of went there because the night my mum died, she asked to see me. And she said, Trace, how's your life? What you doing? And she was making her last piece with me. She said, because I'd only been to Benidorm in France. She said, you should travel more and go around the world more and walk through doors. Carpe diem, it means walk through doors. Look beyond the door. So my mum kind of spiritually, if you like, impregnated that word, imprinted in my mind, walking through doors. Moving forward, I'm on a kibbutz. There's a lot of time. And I decided to just, there's no computers invented yet. I decided to make notes, because all the Americans on the kibbutz was all writing diaries. And I used to take a piss out of them, actually. So why are you writing that? So I started writing notes, kind of on bits of paper. And I'm left-handed. My writing is terrible. And I had carrier bags full of notes. I'd done that, moving on, for about 5 years, because I traveled a lot. I went and lived in Goa and all through Europe, kibbutz twice, Israel twice. And I had all this stuff in bags. I did put it in a bit of a folder. Then a friend of mine said, Trace, are you writing a book? This was after about 10 years, 1989, mate, when I'm now into promoting, right? I said, well, it's not really a book. He said, can I read it? I said, it's all in back to front in pieces. He said, give me it. He structured it, photocopied it, put it on the computer, Macintosh, and made me a folder. And it looked like a book, but it was only up from 1979 up until my traveling. So then I decided to get a bit serious. So I bought a Mac, and I decided to go backwards to about 5 years old, when I first had a drum, to link all that, and then link it. And I wrote on and off for 10 years, then real time. All the stories we've spoke about are in this book. It's a massive book.
Quite some story.
It was 2,800 pages, but I've got to finish it, right? So about 10 years ago, I thought, I want to finish this book. And then my dad falls into a coma. The book said in honor of Dolly, my mum, when I started, and Tommy, my dad, when I finished. Now, my dad was in a coma for 7 months. That's a whole new story, is in the book. This instrument brought him out of coma. by the way. I tried to finish it because he knows I've been writing it for years. And I was trying to finish it by his bedside on my Mac. And he dies after 7 months. That's a kind of a beautiful story. But as he died, I met my now wife, Sylvia. As my dad literally was being put in the ground and I was trying back and forward to Ibiza, which is a strange thing. 'Cause I love my dad a lot. I met Sylvia, who I probably spent a year just to get talking to her. Then I thought, I've got to put this in it. But I carried on writing the book, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. And then I thought, I've got to finish it. What do I finish it on? So I decided to make the finish the very first night I spend with Sylvia, which is in a tent in a forest in Ibiza. Very bizarre ending to the book. But while I'm doing that, we have a baby and I have Sam. None of this is in the book, by the way. That's later if I decide to go further. I don't want it to be a story where, oh God, you got to get the next one. It is a standalone story and it has all my ups and downs. So the first bit from volume 1 is my birth up until the gangster promoting danger, money stuff. Then it's moving to London and becoming a successful promoter and television and all the stuff there and finding Ibiza. And the third one, to the end, is coming to Ibiza and evolving as a person, still promoting. I still promote things now at a different level. I get the same buzz, whether it be my classic car shows or my band. Go Tribe, we tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So I can't
so
not be
3 books. It's 3 books.
It's one story, 3 books.
One,
2, 3.
And when people buy it,
yes,
it's really important, obviously, because you want people to read your story. How do they buy it? And does it come in just 1 or is it the 3? How does it work?
Okay, it's available on Amazon. It's called Walking Through Doors by Trace Harris.
I'll put all the listings in the description, by the way. So
it's on Kindle for about $5 or soft cover, but it's in 3 volumes. So what a lot of people are doing, I'm selling loads of them. They're getting 1 because it's like £8 or something, volume 1, and every one of them, they send me pictures of them holding it. They like the volume 1. It's a bit innocent and my writing's a bit unprofessional, but they like it. I have so many people that have known me for years. It's like I'm talking to you, because it's not perfect. The second volume, you buy it all in one go, of course, and they get it. So there's always, this is great as a promoter. Every morning I will do when I go in there. I go on Amazon and see how many I've sold today. And it's an ongoing book. It's not a fashion book. December the 10th, my birthday, last year, I launched it. That means I did a party for it with DJs, all these little bubbles of subjects within the book. So you could look at it on Amazon, open it up and you'll see ayahuasca, ecstasy, love, dance music, plastic dreams, CJ McIntosh, Muhammad Ali, who I met, or whatever. It's all in there. And again, I'm going to get my ego involved. The feedback I get is brilliant. I get a lot of messages from people saying, Trace, I read your volume 3. I've finished your book. Yesterday, I went for a drive and I decided to go and see my dad. I hadn't seen him for 2 years. I went and saw him. That's lovely. Because I read your book. That makes everything.
It makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it?
Yeah. So I every now and again I leave it because I'm a promoter and I can over promote. You over promote, you become invisible. You know what I mean? If you did a post every day, I'm doing a party. After a couple of weeks, you're almost invisible. Whereas you do one at the right time, it encapsulates all that. So I'm in this wonderful, and thank you for doing this with me. I will utilize this with the story of my book with it to
absolutely. I can't wait. I'm going to read them.
This is the big one because since finishing it, my son has been born, little Zam. On the back now, all the copies will have here under this eye for Zam. It'll have Zam there. So my son, at some point, will read this and he'll know more about me, I've said this before, than the Pope knows about the Bible. He would know, he will cringe, he will cry, he will laugh, and he will meet his mum in this book. And my son, at some point, will read this.
You've documented it.
I've documented it. It's a great, and it's forever. And on Amazon, there's not big money involved. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get but it's free. I would like everyone, I'm going to say this to you now, at about the age of 50, contemplate writing a book, or at least set it up, especially yourself, because there's so many people that are nearly 50, which is a great age. Set it up. It's free. Leave it, go back to it, leave it, go back to it. You may just find, wow, I've wrote for 10 hours without stopping before. You'll set it up. You'll design a cover. It's free. You'll have it ready. It's called a name. You change it. It's free. And then you think, that's perfect. Send. You got a book there. Even if, have you got children?
I have indeed, yes.
How old are
they? 9, 5, and 1.
What? Wow. So listen, Deck, you imagine when we're really old, 50's young, mate.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about 50 in a bit. You imagine if we're really old and lose a few marbles, or God forbid we get Alzheimer's. At some point, you can still read with Alzheimer's. You can still read, but you don't know who you are, but you can read who you are. Think about this. Or if you can't read, if someone reads to you, you connect to it like old music. When my dad was dying, I spent a lot of time in the hospital with old people and headphones, and I was trying to find out their favourite music, Glenn Miller, Elvis, Beatles, I don't know who, and I would get on my someone told me to do this, I'd get on my iPhone, I'd find Frank Sinatra or Perry Como or whatever. With my dad, it was Mac the Knife, Frank Sinatra. Put it on their head, right? Watch their face. I would urge anyone, if they have a relative, a friend, or family member that sadly has Alzheimer's, to try that.
Yeah.
But it has to be headphones. It can't be on the radio, can't be on the telly, and watch them reminisce. Their mind, and I've done this,
it's still there.
Will wind back to that music, and they'll like it. Their eyes might water with joy. It's a wonderful thing to do. So if you have a log of your life, and your life as exciting as mine, what a thing to add. And if you end up not publishing it or putting away or don't do it, it's just taking some time.
I have often thought about it. My business partner on the digital side of our work, he's just written a book. So
right.
Yeah, he's always finished it. He's been constantly talking about this book and everything. Nice. So and weirdly, people are saying, because I've been doing the YouTube thing as well, and the podcasting thing, I'm documenting a lot of stuff here as well. So my son come in last night and said, "Dad, I just saw one of your videos on YouTube."
Right.
And I was
actually, it's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But he's too young to understand a lot of the
I know,
stuff
but how lucky are we? How lucky are we to have this stuff? What you're doing now and other stuff I have, how lucky are we to have that? I'm going to diversify it, but I got pictures of myself with my mum from when I was a little baby, right? Growing up. Beautiful photos. The last time when I did ayahuasca, we took our baby. He was 3 months old. No one in the dome knew there was a baby in there because they set you up and you have a little cot, etc. We went in early. A couple of people might have seen him. We put our little baby down, and then we did the ceremony. I was asked to play again, and you drink 3 cups in a 12-hour period. So we both drank the first horrible tasting stuff. It's like melted down socks. It's horrible. You drink it, and then you come up, rise, start to have the experience. So when everyone was high, it was a lovely group of people. Everyone was dancing. There was a woman playing a guitar. I was playing this. When I stopped playing, I picked up my little boy, 3 months old, little blonde hair, and I'm on the dance floor. It's not a dance floor. It's a dome. There's fire. It's all dark, and it's really cool. And I'm dancing with him, and people are looking at him like they're tripping. They don't believe it's really a baby. Their face is like exaggerated.
I bet. It's the last thing they're expecting.
Yeah. Now, this is the point. When I'd kind of finished showing him off, I go back to my comfort seat and I decide not to take the second cup. But my wife did, Sylvia. I wanted her to have a relief from the baby stuff and all that. And this is what happened to me. I started watching in awe Sylvia, and I gave Zam, our baby, to Sylvia. And then I saw the most unbelievable vision. Right? Sylvia became my mum, and Zam became me. and I know why, because all the pictures went into my psychology. Sylvia's face became my mum's face, like a very cheap projection. It was like, and Zam, who looks exactly the same as me when I was young, he thinks he's in when I show him a picture of me. I watched Sylvia for 3 hours. I watched my mum and I watched me and I watched this is spiritual. I watched pure love and it fascinated me. It still does. I'm tingling like crazy now, just talking about it. So I watched Sylvia and I was watching my mum. It was as if if it exists and if it's real, I have no idea. Might just be placebo, but what a thing. I'm watching my mum again because she's not here. I'm watching my mum cuddling me, but cuddling Zam. Because Zam is my mum and dad. DNA is reincarnation exactly, isn't it? It's their blood, their DNA, their grandson they never saw. So I've watched for hours. If I could have, you can't record it, although you can in your mind. I've watched with fascination me in the loving arms of my mum. And it's to this moment, it blows my mind. And I've told some people about it, but some people won't even click what I'm going on about.
No, I get it. I get it completely. Because
it was beautiful.
There's so much we don't understand and never will understand. And especially when you do like psychedelic experiences as well, you're like, wow, where is this? This shit's coming from somewhere, and there's so much more that you can't explain.
That's it. Can't explain
unless you just can't. You can't explain unless you're there. Listen, Trace, I've had you for an hour and a half.
Whoa! Wow!
And
really?
It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. Can I ask you a question? And I always ask this as a final question. Do you have one more tune that you would have dropped at the end of your parties at all? Or would it have been a tune?
No, I have it. I have it. It's the first tune that really went into me, Plastic Dreams.
There we go. I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it. And
that tune, wow. You know?
Yeah. I remember buying it on vinyl for the first ever time. Yeah.
In the Ministry, the sound system then, I don't know if you remember, the tweeters used to be raw. They wasn't boxed. I was in the dark room. That Plastic Dreams, you felt like that DJ, it was probably Frankie Knuckles or Tony Humphries, was playing that amazing track just for you, Alndy. Bit selfish, and you absorb every note of every single of the track, right? Because it's vinyl, right? That moment is in me forever. It's never going to leave me. And
I bought that track on vinyl as a Valentine's Day present for my girlfriend one year.
Right.
She was a DJ, and she loved the track, and I managed to find it. It was it'd been out. But it was, when was it released? It was
Is it JD?
JD, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know when it was out.
I bought. I don't know what year it was released, but anyway, it was one of the first tracks I had on vinyl, and she always loved it. But I remember buying it for her as a Valentine's Day present. But that was what it was. We were proper clubbers and ravers that day. But Trace, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome, Dex. You're welcome.
It's been an absolutely fascinating journey and
you.
Talking to you about your experiences. And I've heard so much about I remember Smarty Party always being spoken about in London. And
it's a really cool underground party. Really was.
It was, wasn't it? And I was so faithful to my Bagleys and my Strawberries and my Sunnysides and all that. All my mates were there. It didn't really divert, did you? So
no.
I wasn't a big attender of Smarty Party. So it's been great to hear.
I've been asked to bring it back, but I won't. Egg recently asked someone if I would do a reunion.
It's a big thing at the moment, isn't it? The reunions. I mean, there were even Dreamscapes coming back.
Yeah.
Do you remember Dreamscape?
No. Yeah, Well Dance. Yeah.
Well Dance has come back. Dreamscape's coming back. Helter Skelter will probably be the next one.
I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back.
Leave the memories where they are.
Forward. Forward.
Trace, you've been amazing.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you so much for your time. And I wish you all the best in your new life, or your continual life in Ibiza.
Thank you. And I'll play you out.